there, my name's Alana and I have a little bit of an addiction to high-end and luxury makeup, and I use my YouTube channel to justify it. So today we are talking about some absolutely beautiful new blushes from Pat McGrath. These are the limited edition Divine Blush Duos. They retail for 60 Canadian dollars and you get 9.7 grams of product. Sorry, I have to admire this as we talk about it. I think it's so pretty. Look at that embossing. It's the same embossing that we see on her regular Divine blushes. Now her regular Divine blushes are 53 Canadian dollars, and again you're getting 9.7 grams of product. So here in Canada we are paying $7 more for the dual color, which does give you some choice, right? If you want to use one color, swirl them together, use both. My preference is swirling them both together, but it's whatever you enjoy. And to me, I don't know, I'm okay with paying $7 more. It's limited edition, it's a duo kind of product. I don't know, I get it. The price of everything's going up. Not that I'm okay with that, but I get it. Would I love them to be the same price? Yes. But if you're the kind of person who's totally okay with spending $53 on a blush, you're gonna deal with the 60. Okay, so in this video, first of all, the question that I want to answer is this blush a gimmick? You know, is it the same blush, but it's just in a dual pan? Is it just pretty? Is it just something that's gonna photograph nicely, like in a flat lay? But, you know, so I kind of have that question I want to answer. So other than answering that question, we are going to try on the two shades I purchased, which is Divine Rose 2 and Aphrodite's Amour. So I'm wearing those I'm wearing Aphrodite Amour today, right now, as I talk to you, but later in the video, you'll see me wearing each of them. We're gonna take a look at the swatches, both looking at the two blushes that I purchased, but also comparing it to some of my existing Pat McGrath blushes. Then I'm gonna share with you my final thoughts and some recommendations. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so let's run through some of the claims. So Pat is claiming a Petal Soft Touch, Feather Light. So it's Petal Soft, Feather Light, okay? This better be light as air. Buildable and blendable, mistake-proof application, vivid color purity. So that is, I think, the biggest difference. We're gonna get into that. Demi-matte and satin pearl finishes, all-day wear, soft focus effect. So the biggest difference, I took a look on the website through the new duo blushes and the original single ones. The biggest difference is the vivid color purity. So these blushes, they are bright, they are bold, and if you have fair skin like me, you're gonna wanna go in with a light hand. We're gonna see what happens when you don't. But the great thing, in my opinion, about vivid color purity, one, who doesn't love a nice, like pure, true colored blush? Two, more importantly, I think this makes the blushes more accessible for lots of different skin tones. So obviously I can't speak to that, but I'm sure there'll be other creators who will. But I would just think that if it has vivid color purity, you know, this is coming from Pat McGrath, this is coming from the incredible woman who did so much of the Bridgerton makeup, which just makes everyone just look stunning. We know that Pat is going to deliver on that. And I am so excited that this is going to be a range that so many different people can enjoy. One more thing before we put this blush on. I know that different people have different preferences when it comes to how they try on their blushes for YouTube. Personally, for me, I always like to have my bronzer on first. I always like to think that it's not about showcasing it necessarily exactly what the blush looks like straight from the pan. That's what swatches are for. To me, when it's on your face, it's about showing what does it look like when it's working together with all of the other products on your face. For me, I always have a bronzer, like a soft contour, kind of a bronze tour going on before I put on my blush. So I want to see what it actually looks like with a full face of makeup. So I'm going to start with Divine Rose 2, and I'm using my Refer number 5 brush. This is one of my favorite brushes for blush. Now there are two choices. I can either dab in kind of one side and then the other, kind of the Charlotte Tilbury way, or Pat also says you can swirl them together. So I like the idea of swirling them together with this one. So let's, oh wow, that is pink. Do you see that? That is pink. Okay, so we're gonna give it a tap off. Now she does describe these blushes as quite pigmented, so I'm gonna be going in with quite a light hand because I have a pretty fair complexion. But if they are as pigmented as she say, I think that's gonna be great for anyone in the beauty community, anyone watching my videos with a deeper complexion. Okay, so that is usually about as much blush as I put on my face in one go, and that was one, like just a few gentle dabs in, tapped off, and blended. I'm gonna add just a little bit more of the center, sort of brighter shade, the shade with the flower embossment, just here on my cheek. but that is really, really pretty. Definitely a fun color. This is definitely the kind of blush that I enjoy when I have a little bit more of a tan. So as you can see, I got a little overconfident here and I went in with a little too much powder. I'm trying to reblend it in, but yeah, that is pink. That is definitely very pink. So now we're gonna try the other shade I purchased, Aphrodite Amour. And I gotta say, this is the shade that I was definitely most attracted to, so I have high hopes. So again, using my Reference number 5 brush, which I have rubbed off, there's no leftover pigment, we are gonna go in with Aphrodite Amour. And this is definitely the blush that I was most drawn to when I saw it. So again, we are gonna swirl the colors together and just hope for a beautiful kind of neutral pop. I'm gonna make sure to give it a good tap off. I think this one's gonna be a little bit lighter and softer and more flattering, or at least not as bold on me, but we can always add more. And here we have Aphrodite Amour. Here we have the brighter shade, the lighter shade, and the 2 shades blended together from Aphrodite's Amour. Next, we have 3 blushes from the original launch, Flirtatious, Nymphette, and Nude Venus. And finally, we have Nude Venus 2. So we have the outer shade, the inner shade, and the 2 blended together. So here is the final look. Again, this is me wearing the Aphrodite Amour. We've already seen me in Divine Rose 2, and wow, Divine Rose 2 is a bright, bright blush. Like, I thought I went in with a light hand, but I think an even lighter hand would be a better idea for me. Now, she said mistake-proof application. I'm gonna disagree a little bit. I think it's very easy to make a mistake when you have blushes that literally claim to have vivid color purity. I think that if you want a mistake-proof application and you have a complexion kind of similar to mine, you are definitely going to want to tap the brush off and go in with the lightest possible hand, because you can always add more, but toning it down later is a little bit more of a fight. So this launch has 6 different shades in it, which is a lot smaller than her original launch. Now, I really see this limited edition launch as more complementary to the, existing, long-standing, larger collection that's permanently available. So I'm fine with it only having 6 in. I think there's a good range. I think there's definitely shades for deeper complexions. There's shades for lighter complexions. There's shades for people who are, prefer a little bit more traditional blush colors. There's 2 blushes that have a beautiful purple shade in it. So there's lots of different options even within such a small launch. Now, she's claiming these are limited edition. I think we all know in the beauty world that limited edition, it can mean one of 2 things. Either it's Charlotte Tilbury's Fire Rose, it's out, and before you even had a chance to fall in love with it, it's gone and you're never going to see it again, or it's limited edition and yet still kicking around 2 years later. So, remains to be seen which one of these this is going to be. Definitely hope it's a product she's going to keep around, because I think these are a lot of fun. I hope this is something that she chooses to expand in her range, because you know what, Pat, we asked Pat for blush forever. And then she delivered. And then she delivered again. One final thought on these blushes. To me, it feels like the original Pat McGrath blush and the Charlotte Tilbury two-tone blushes, it feels like they came together and had a baby. Now, I need to know down in the comments below, is that baby Pat Tilbury or is it Charlotte McGrath? Personally, I think Pat Tilbury has a beautiful ring to it. But yeah, that would be the collab of the century. Can you imagine a Pat McGrath Charlotte Tilbury makeup collab? I would die. I would, because I'd be broke, because I'd buy every single thing in it and I wouldn't regret it. So anyways, there's another idea to put out into the beauty world. Overall, I think these blushes are beautiful. Are these a must-have? Not really. If you already have a blush or 2 from her original launch that flatters you and works for you, probably don't need these, but I think these are a lot of fun. If you're a makeup enthusiast, a makeup collector, of course you're going to want to have these in your collection. I think the real thing is, these are great quality products, beautiful shade range. So if there's a color that calls to you, I would get 1. I don't think you need 2. I probably didn't need 2. I will say personally, I much prefer Aphrodite Amour on me than Divine Rose 2. I find Divine Rose 2 is a bit too saturated, a bit too bold. And for me, I definitely prefer a little bit of a softer blush. But it is all up to you. It's all up to your preferences. So I'm going to leave everything linked down below. Love to know in the comments what you think of this collection, if you're picking anything up, if you've already picked anything up. And yeah, anyways, I'm gonna leave some videos linked down below that I think you'll enjoy. If you haven't already, please subscribe here at Classy on the Run. We love talking about Pat McGrath. We love talking about Natasha Denona. Charlotte Tilbury is basically my imaginary best friend because I feel like we're friends, and we met once, and when we met I didn't realize how obsessed I was going to be with all of her products, so I didn't even get a picture. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I'd love to chat with you guys down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Mwah.